More than 50 million Americans are under a severe weather threat in the Northeast. It comes as areas of New York clean up from the last round of storms, which included 9 confirmed tornadoes around Syracuse and Rochester.
Do you want to know the power of this tornado? Take note of the fact that a B-52 bomber was tipped on its side. That weighs 183,000 pounds.
New York Governor Kathy Hochul. French anti-terror police detained an alleged neo-Nazi sympathizer suspected of wanting to target the Olympic torch relay. A Pro Football Hall of Famer is speaking out about what happened aboard a recent United flight.
Terrell Davis says a United flight attendant did not hear his son ask for ice.
Finally said, "Excuse me, can I get some ice?" I just tapped him on the shoulder. He swings his arm back and said, "Don't hit me."
He says another passenger told him he saw what happened. That flight attendant left. Davis said he thought nothing of it until the plane landed in Orange County and law enforcement arrived.
They walk up to me and the guy he whispers in my ear. He says, "Don't fight it," and he puts cuffs on me.
United's apologized, but Davis says he has not heard directly from the airline. Brian Clark, ABC News.
Capital One says it plans to offer $265 billion in lending, investing, and philanthropy projects as part of its pending $35 billion merger with Discover Financial. Daria Albinger, ABC News.
Oh no, stomach issues again?
Stomach issues?
Who are you?
Your pancreas. I could be the real reason for your diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose oily stools.
I thought it was my stomach.
People often do, but any of these symptoms could mean having a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and speak with your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
News Talk 610 AM and 102.1 FM. KBNU.
I'm Bill Walter, KBNU News. News brought to you by Roof Rescue. Just a couple of weeks after the majority of Utah was placed under fire restrictions, officials are elevating the rules at Antelope Island State Park even further. As of Tuesday, the popular state park is under Stage 2 fire restrictions. Utah's Division of Forestry, Fire, and State Lands puts the new restrictions in place as Utah experiences scorching hot temperatures, gusty winds, and overall dry conditions. The Stage 2 restrictions mean campfires, barbecues, and stoves are completely banned, even in designated campgrounds. Additionally, all the Stage 1 restrictions are still enforced, including a ban on fireworks, tracer ammo, exploding targets, plus no cutting, welding, or grinding metal in areas of dry vegetation. Smoking must be done in an enclosed vehicle, and ATVs, chainsaws, and motorcycles must have a spark arrestor. Living paycheck to paycheck is not a new phenomenon, but inflation is making it harder for many Americans to save money for the future or even for small emergencies. A recent study by Bankrate.com revealed that most employees are taking the right steps financially, working overtime, budgeting, and trying to make ends meet. Despite their efforts, over a third of American workers feel they are living paycheck to paycheck. Bankrate analyst Sarah Foster said that many are working overtime, budgeting, trying hard to make ends meet. Regionally, workers in the South and Midwest are more likely to report living paycheck to paycheck. This trend is particularly pronounced among lower-income Americans and Generation X. Hispanic and Black workers are more likely to feel this financial strain compared to their white counterparts. Divorced workers are the group most likely to feel the squeeze of living by paycheck, even more so than single workers. And a decision from the U.S. Supreme Court protects Idaho rivers from what conservation groups say are harmful mining practices. The justices rejected a petition to review a case in which a California suction dredge miner conducted his operations without a Clean Water Act permit in Idaho. The miner, Shannon Poe, was fined $150,000 in 2021 by a district court for polluting the South Fork of the Clearwater River. The Idaho Conservation League filed suit against Poe for failing to get a permit back in 2018. The The league's Jonathan Oppenheimer says the Supreme Court's decision is a victory for Idaho Rivers.
We were concerned that it could go the other way and are pleased to see the outcome that really upholds what we see as the rule of law, that if you're going to discharge pollutants into waters of the United States, that you need to have appropriate permits and take actions to protect those waters for all Americans.
Suction dredge mining uses an underwater hose to excavate gold from riverbeds. It can release dangerous metals like arsenic and mercury. Poe refused to get a permit for the mining. 21 states, including Idaho, signed on to a friend of the court brief in support of Poe. KBNU weather brought to you by Bell Medical, having their best sale ever. Get a Bell Sculpt procedure for $42.50 or a mommy makeover for $52.50, the lowest price ever. Go to bellmedical.com for more information. And KBNU weather, patchy smoke early this evening, partly cloudy skies, low in the mid-60s, hot sunshine tomorrow and around 98. Get more news at CashValleyDaily.com.
Roof Rescue is your local roofing specialist, dedicated to keeping your home safe and dry no matter the weather. Their team of experienced roofers is here to serve you, providing top quality service at affordable prices. From minor repairs to complete roof replacements, they've got you covered. Remember, your roof is your first line of defense in protecting your family from the elements. So don't wait until the next storm to discover your roof problems. Call Roof Rescue today at 435-999-4268. They're your trusted local roofing experts, here to keep your home safe and dry. Roof Rescue, celebrating 10 years of providing watertight peace of mind.
Breaking news and stimulating talk. News Talk KVNU, 610 AM and 102.1 FM.
This is Cache County Fire Chief Rod Hammer. Due to current and predicted weather conditions coupled with extremely dry vegetation in northern Utah, the state forester has determined that measures must be taken to prevent the ignition of forest and rangeland fires. The following acts are prohibited in unincorporated private and state lands. First, no open fires of any kind except within established public facilities, in improved campgrounds, picnic areas, or in permanently constructed fire pits at private homes where running water is present. Second, no smoking except within an enclosed vehicle, trailer, or building, a developed recreation site, or while stopped in an area that is paved or free from dry vegetation. Third, no discharging or using any fireworks, tracer ammunition, or other pyrotechnic devices, including exploding targets. Fourth, no cutting, welding, or grinding metal in areas of dry vegetation. And fifth, no operating a motorcycle, chainsaw, ATV, or other small internal combustion engine without an approved and working spark arrestor. Please help us by doing your part to prevent costly and dangerous wildfires.
This is Brent Wallace with Cache Valley Bank, and we are celebrating our pioneers and their contribution to our state. Join us as we celebrate the days of 47 with our promotion. From now until July 31st, you can receive a 4.79 annual percentage yield on a 12-month CD or a 4.25 annual percentage yield on an 1847-day certificate of deposit. Come visit us or give us a call to learn more and be part of the celebration. Cache Valley Bank, mountains await. Member FDIC, no minimum balance required. Early withdrawal penalty may apply.
Thank you for calling Cardall's Insulation. How can we make your home more comfortable today?
Is your home hot? Does your air conditioner run nonstop? Are you spending a fortune on energy? Call Cardall's Insulation, 755-5012. From attics and walls, garages and basements, new homes and commercial construction, Cardall's is the name thousands of homeowners, builders, and remodelers trust. Stay cool all summer and save money on your utility bills. In fact, you may qualify for a tax credit up to $1,200. Cardall's Insulation, 755-5012.
Hey Utah, summer has come alive. Truly the best season to get out and drive. Yes, road trips, adventures, new places, all better in a new vehicle from Murdoch GMC Chevrolet Cadillac. Right now, receive up to $4,000 off a new 2024 Sierra 1500 HD. When you walk through our doors, you feel like family. At Murdoch Chevrolet GMC Cadillac in Logan or online at MurdochChevroletLogan.com. GMC, we are professional grade.
Call 888-391-6083 or see dealer for complete details. Offer expires 7/31/24.
I'm Larry Gelwicks, the Getaway Guru, with Morris Columbus Travel and Delta Vacations, with double discounts on your air and hotel packages to the sunny beaches of Hawaii and Mexico, to Europe and the Caribbean, and you save like never before. And for the best travel deals on the planet, give us a call at Morris Columbus Travel.
Come on and get away, Morris Columbus.
Welcome back to KVNU's For the People, hour 2 of today's show. It is Wednesday, July 17th. I'm Jason Williams. Thanks again to Logan City Mayor Holly Daines for stopping by today, spending the first hour with us, covering everything from the chip and seal schedule throughout July in the city to upcoming changes to construction schedules and more, what's going on in downtown, what the city's planning as far as planning ahead goes. As you heard the mayor announce there, the general plan is coming up on its 20th birthday, which means it will need to be updated, and they're going to be announcing a series of public meetings over that soon. So a lot going on in Logan City. And as the mayor mentioned, August 1st, Logan City will be holding a Truth in Taxation meeting. These are statutorily required meetings anytime a city or a governing entity at large proposes a tax increase. So Logan City will be hosting their Truth in Taxation meeting on August 1st, 6 p.m. at Logan Municipal Council Chambers. And you'll also be able to watch the live stream on their YouTube channel. You can download the agenda and informational packets that will be presented to elected officials at that meeting. You can download that via loganutah.gov, and I've linked to that, or loganutah.org. There's a link there, and I've linked to it on our Facebook page as well. But we talked about that with the mayor. Logan City proposing a pretty modest property tax increase of what would basically be about $10 a year additional for Logan residents, $20 for commercial residents, commercial properties. That's pretty minor tax increase proposal. Richmond City also proposing a small property tax increase for residential properties of about $8.50 roughly is what they're proposing. Annual increase, not monthly, and so significant. But these two cities, Logan and Richmond, are 2 of 9 cities that announced that they would be hosting in August Truth and Taxation meetings over proposed property tax increases. And some of them are large. So let me quickly go through the calendar here for you, first off, and then I'll do this again afterwards. And I've linked to this on our Facebook page if folks would like to take a look themselves. This is significant. I'll put it that way. And I'm not a person who thinks it's smart to just oppose every proposed tax increase. We've got to pay for stuff, right? What irritates me at times is when you see a city proposing a huge tax increase because they kicked that can down the road for 10 years, because that just hits people really hard that 1 year as opposed to just doing your job the previous 10. But otherwise, I think, we have to acknowledge that we do have to pay for stuff. That doesn't mean we should just say yes. That's what these meetings are about. Truth and Taxation meetings are a chance for you to go and learn why they're proposing it, what the money would go towards, or why it's necessary in their minds. And then you get a chance to voice your opinion. And the schedule is as such, starting at the first of the month, August 1st, with Logan City at 6 p.m. holding. And again, these Truth and Taxation meetings are happening because a property tax increase on residential and commercial property has been proposed. So first up, August 1st, Logan City will hold theirs at Logan City Hall at 6 p.m. Next up is on August 5th, Hiram City will be hosting theirs at Hiram City Hall, which is 60 West Main Street in Hiram. That's August 5th at 6:30 p.m., a public meeting in Hiram City for their proposed tax increase of 27%. We'll get back to that, though. And then after Hiram on August 5th, next up you have Wellsville, August 7th. Now, theirs is not as small as Richmond or Logan's proposal, but Wellsville's not quite up there like Hiram and Clarkston are. And they are proposing about a roughly $16 a year increase for the average resident, $30 a year increase for the average commercial property owner. Their public hearing will be August 7th at Wellsville City Hall, 6:10 p.m. And again, the county has this entire sheet on their website. I've linked to it also on our Facebook page. But if you want to jot these down, I'll run through them here quickly. So that takes us up to August 7th. Then on I missed Clarkston, August 6th, the day before Wellsville. So August 6th, Clarkston will hold their meeting at 7 p.m. at the Clarkston City Building there. That's August 6th, 7 p.m., Truth and Taxation meeting required by the state anytime a city or any entity proposes increasing taxes. Then on August, next up would be the 14th, Hyde Park City at 7 p.m. on August 14th will hold their Truth and Taxation meeting. Then on August 15th, the next night, Richmond City will hold their Truth and Taxation meeting. Then on August 21st, you have North Logan City, just a bit above Wellsville in their proposed tax increase, of about $17 a year in property tax increase being proposed there. The North Logan City Truth and Taxation public meeting will be August 21st at 6:35 p.m. at the North Logan City building there, the new North Logan City building there. That's August 21st again. Then on August 28th, Smithfield City. You get the picture here? It's valley-wide. On August 28th, Smithfield City will hold their Truth and Taxation public hearing required by state law at 6:30 p.m. And finally, Mendon City, who they are proposing a significant property tax increase alongside Hiram and others. And the Mendon City public Truth and Taxation meeting will be August 29th at 7 p.m. So let's run through this here. Notice of Truth and Taxation is required by state law as well. So they have to put this out. Logan City, again, holding the first meeting August 1st, and Mendon City holding the last meeting August 29th. But basically, 9 cities in Cache Valley will be holding 9 different Truth and Taxation meetings for their residents over proposed tax increases. And I've run through a few of the numbers here, but some of these I'm actually a little surprised by. So in the lower range, you have Logan City and Richmond City. Logan City proposing roughly a $10 a year property tax increase. That's pretty insignificant. It's probably a very reasonable proposal for what the city is taking on these days as far as all the growth and what the city's responsible for as well, the roads mainly, I would guess. And then the next after them, so $10, Logan City is the proposed property tax increase, $10 a year roughly. Richmond City is lower than that at about 8.6 is their proposed $8.60 proposed annual increase for residential, $15 increase for commercial. Those are reasonable, almost expected every couple of years property tax increase amounts, $10, $8, things like that. Wellsville City, not too high above that. It's a proposed $16 a year property tax increase for commercial or residential, and a proposed $30 a year property tax increase for commercial properties. And that amounts to about a 7% increase in the property tax. Those percentages matter, and we'll get to that, because the percentages, regardless of the dollar amount that's proposed, if the percentage of increase to the city's revenue from this tax increase is low, that's a sign your city has been being responsible over the years. That they've increased property taxes when necessary and not shied away from having that conversation with residents when it's necessary. When you get up above, say a 15-20% increase to your city's revenue, that's a city that has been irresponsible. And even though they knew the bills were coming due, they didn't want to have the hard conversation with residents about increasing property taxes, so they kicked the can down the road, and now they have no choice but to do it, and it's a significant chunk of change out of people's pockets. So that is frustrating for me to see this. So I'm letting Logan City, Mendon City, North Logan City, Richmond City, Smithfield City, Wellsville City, and Hyde Park City off the hook because they are all at or below a 10% increase to property tax revenue. So the proposed property tax increase itself, dollar amount wise, is at or less than a 10% increase in total property tax revenue for the city. And again, to me, that says that city has raised property taxes over the years in small increments, and they've been willing to have those honest and hard conversation with residents to say, this is why we need to do it. And I think that's responsible city management. When you get off 10%, I think you can start asking questions about a lack of responsibility. And so the two that get my thumbs down in this list, Clarkston and Hiram City. Now, don't get me wrong. There may be some other reason for this. But Hiram City is proposing, their proposed property tax increase is $42 a year on every residential parcel. $42 increase a year on every residential parcel, and a $77 increase on every commercial property. Now, that's not huge. That's probably a year in a year's time. That's probably not going to make or break anybody's family or business budget. What's frustrating about it is this amounts to a 27% entity revenue increase, as it's called. That means that the property taxes probably should have gone up in some space of time over the last 5 to 10 years. And city planners in Hiram kicked that can down the road. And so now they're at a point where they have to do it to keep the lights on. And so it's a much more significant one-time jump, as opposed to splitting that up over multiple years' time to make it easier for people to absorb into their budgets. That's just bad city planning. And I blame opportunistic elected officials, because that's almost always who's at fault for this. City council members who they don't want to do it this year. We'll do it next year. We'll do it next year. We'll do it next year. Sometimes it's mayors. Usually it's city council members. Clarkston City, wow. Clarkston City is proposing a 63% increase. Now, don't get me wrong. This is not a 63% increase to your property taxes. The average Clarkston resident is going to see their property taxes go up $121 if this is approved. Commercial property owners in Clarkston are going to see their property taxes go up $221 a year. That is a 63% increase to the city's revenue. That is just irresponsible. I'm not saying it's irresponsible to propose. I don't know. Maybe it is. Maybe it's not. I'm not passing judgment on proposing the property tax increase. I'm saying the only reason a city ever has to propose a gigantic $121 a year increase, or an increase that amounts to 63% increase in their overall revenue from property taxes collected each year, is because they have been irresponsible until announcing this proposal. They've known the money was needed. They've known that, there are two things going on here. Either the money's not needed and they're just asking, and in that case, residents should squawk. But I'm assuming that the money is needed, or they wouldn't be asking for the tax increase. And so if the money was needed, it was needed 2 years ago. It was needed 4 years ago. It was needed 6 years ago. And there were likely times when property taxes should have gone up in Clarkston, in Hiram, and in Mendon, although Mendon's is still only a 10% increase to the city's budget. They are proposing a $47 annual increase to residential property taxes in Mendon City. That's all avoidable. Again, I'm not being overly dramatic here and claiming that this is going to make or break someone's family budget or business, put their business under. It's not going to do that. None of these proposed increase in any of these 9 cities. What frustrates me is when you see $121, when you see $42 a year, when you see $47 a year. These are numbers we shouldn't see. A property tax increase should be under $20, $15, even $10 when proposed. And if that needs to happen every 2 years, let's have that conversation every 2 years. Don't surprise us every 10 years trying to bump it up a couple of $100, because for some people that is a big deal. And more importantly, I think it's evidence of a city kicking cans down the road, which benefits nobody but elected officials running for re-election. Frustrating stuff. Again, these Truth and Taxation meetings, all 9 of them will take place in August. Clarkston City, Hyde Park City, Hiram City, Logan City, Mendon City, North Logan City, Richmond City, Smithfield City, and Wellsville City, all proposing property tax increases from small. Richmond and North Logan asking for between $8 and $10 a year. That's reasonable. Smithfield City wants $25 increase a year on residential properties. Wellsville $16. Mendon City wants almost $50 increase in your property taxes. And then Hyde Park at $34. And then, so Mendon, Hiram, and Clarkston proposing the largest property tax increases here. $47 increase a year in Mendon, $42 increase a year in Hiram, and $121 a year increase in Clarkston, amounting to a 63% increase in city revenue from property taxes. That is just irresponsible. If they need the money, I guarantee they needed the money 2 years ago, 4 years ago, 6 years ago. Someone kicked some cans, and now this year the bill's coming due. So you're welcome, Clarkston residents. You should talk to some former city council members about this scenario. Again, I'm not saying these are bad. Not every tax increase proposal is a bad thing. Lights, roads, police, fire, schools, these are really important things, right? You don't have these things. Businesses don't want to be where you are. The jobs that are attached to those businesses leave with those businesses. You've got to pay for stuff. You can't just, pretend that's not the case. So, not saying it's bad to propose a tax increase. What I am saying is bad, again, is when you have to propose a significant property tax increase. That means at some point over the last few years, it became evident this was necessary, and elected officials said, let's put it off. We'll do the irresponsible thing because I'm running for re-election this year or next year or whatever it might be. That's just frustrating to see. Again, if you want to see this whole list, I've posted a screenshot on our Facebook page at facebook.com/KVNUFTP, and we'll be back with more of KVNU's For the People. A couple of messages from listeners here, insightful ones on property tax increases and why, as a couple of listeners agree, why they aren't necessarily bad things. We'll get to those. We'll get to some of your comments on that in a bit here, because that really, again, I want to stress that again. I am not saying in any way that a proposed property in tax increase in and of itself is a bad thing. What I'm saying is that when that proposed increase is large, you know that your city leaders haven't been responsible. So you have everything here from Logan and Smithfield, for example, Logan and Richmond, for example, kind of on the more responsible end of things, proposing small $8 and $10 a year increases. And then in the other end of the spectrum, you have Mendon, Hiram, and Clarkston proposing $50 and $120 property tax increases. That's not good. Yeah, we've got to. Your constituents, your residents, the people who live in your city are adults. They can handle these conversations, and state law requires that you have them with us. So so frustrating to see. Again, a full list of the public meetings for Truth and Taxation, proposed property tax increases in 9 cities here in Cache Valley. I've posted a screenshot of that to our Facebook page. And we'll be back after the news with KVNU's Bill Walter.
Thank you, Jason. A 42-year-old Logan man has been released from jail after serving more than 19 months for sexually assaulting a woman and setting up cameras to secretly record and stalk her. Aaron Hartzell Norton was ordered to serve 575 days in jail, but was given credit for time already served since being arrested in December 2022. Norton was sentenced Monday in Logan's First District Court. He previously accepted a plea deal in 2 cases, pleading guilty to burglary and 2 counts of attempted forcible sodomy, amended to second-degree felonies, stalking, and criminal mischief, amended to third-degree felonies, and 2 counts of voyeurism, amended to Class A misdemeanors. According to prosecutors, Cache County Sheriff's deputies were called to a Nibley residence in December 2022 after the homeowner reportedly found a hidden camera in a power outlet. Another device was located in her bedroom, pointing at her bathroom. The victim claimed how Norton, who she had previously been in a relationship with, had been stalking her during the past 2 months. He would use the location data from her cell phone to track her movements. The woman told deputies how Norton asked to pick up some belongings in November 2022, but then stayed for 3.5 hours. During that time, he reportedly bugged the house. Following Norton's arrest, deputies attempted to question him, but he refused and requested an attorney. During Monday's sentencing, Judge Angela Fonsbeck told Norton that even though she was releasing him from jail, he would be closely monitored and watched on probation. She signed a criminal stalking injunction for the victim, threatening a possible prison sentence if he came back before the court. Cache Valley Cruise-In was held in early July, but we're not done with car shows just yet. It's a car show and so much more this weekend during Hometown Days, Friday and Saturday in Hyde Park. On KVNU's For the People program last week, organizer Landon Wiley talked about this year's celebration.
And we have cars showing up before 4 o'clock and going all the way until 8 o'clock. So, and it's just a great environment for families to come down and walk around. We get a lot of people that say, I've never really been to a car show before. This is really easy to just come here and walk around for a few minutes.
He talked about the history of this particular car show.
I mean, I started the Lee's Car Show back in like 2008 and did that car show for well over a decade. I think we did that 13 times. And Hyde Park City came to me and said, hey, we'd love to have a Hyde Park City car show to go along with our city celebration. And it just went off really well.
Other events include a kids' cardboard car show with awards for first, second, third, and fourth places, a fun run, pie eating contest, bike race, and old timer social, a dance, then fireworks after the dance on Saturday night. KVNU weather brought to you by Napa Auto Parts. Keep your car running smooth and looking good with Napa Gold Filter and 5 Quarts Premium Full Synthetic Oil, just $35 at your 5 locally owned Preston to Providence Napa Auto Parts stores. Tonight, patchy smoke, partly cloudy skies early this evening, and then sunny on Thursday, hot around 98. Get more news at CacheValleyDaily.com.
Discount Tire. So much more than a tire store.
Everyone loves that winning feeling when they save big or hit the jackpot. Now you can do both at Discount Tire and Automotive's 48th anniversary sale. Save big on all low-cost and major brand tires. Plus get a chance at their huge weekly prizes, over $2,500 in prizes. That's right, over $2,500 are there for the taking, including a $250 grocery or gas card. Discount Tire and Automotive in Logan, Providence, and Smithfield has the guaranteed lowest prices, period. Easy layaway available too. Don't miss your chance to save big and win large. Make your tire and service reservations online anytime at webtires.net or stop by Discount Tire, 885 North Main in Logan, 110 South Highway 165 in Providence, and 728 South Main in Smithfield.
Discount Tire. So much more than a tire store.
This is a special report from ABC News, the Republican National Convention. I'm Daria Albinger. Make America Strong once again. That's the theme of tonight's session. One of the early speakers this evening, South Carolina Congresswoman Nancy Mace, who told the delegates that means putting one nation in particular on notice.
Donald Trump stood up to China before, and he will do it again.
The keynote speaker tonight will be Vice Presidential nominee J.D. Vance, who may have given donors at a fundraiser in Milwaukee today a sneak peek at his speech.
It is time to go back to the leadership of Donald Trump. It is time to get rid of the corrupt Biden-Harris regime that has broken this country, that has ruined its reputation in the world, and most importantly, has made a basic middle-class life less affordable for our citizens.
Vance will be introduced by the former president's son, Donald Jr. This is ABC News.
And I said to myself, sit down, you're rocking the boat.
Join Utah Festival Opera and Musical Theater July 5th through August 3rd for show-stopping performances in Logan. Professional performers from Broadway and all over bring you Andrew Lloyd Webber's Cats, the lively classic Guys and Dolls, the hilarious Anything Goes with spectacular tap dancing and music by Cole Porter. Stop the commercial! I'm interrupting myself to tell you that Utah students K through 12 can get a free ticket to all Utah Festival performances this summer. Claim yours online now. Where was I? Oh, yeah. Cult classic Little Shop of Horrors and Puccini's opera Gianni Schicchi with its sequel Buoso's Ghost. Plus, late-night cabarets, 5 concerts, breakfast with the stars, academy classes, and more. Tickets at utahfestival.org. utahfestival.org.
Are you in need of excellent surgical care? Budge Clinic General Surgery offers the future of surgery with state-of-the-art robotic-assisted procedures. From cancer treatments to surgical needs, they've got you covered. Call Budge Clinic General Surgery today, 435-716-1950, to schedule a consultation and experience the best possible outcome. Trust Doctors Anderson, Marshall, McKenna, and Peterson, the experts at Budge Clinic General Surgery, helping people live the healthiest lives possible.
The Retreat at Homestead, a 62 and older affordable community, welcomes you to their grand opening on Thursday, July 18th from 4 to 6 p.m. Located at 778 West and 400 North in Logan. Join us for food trucks, a classy car show, giveaways, and more. Plus, come meet your favorite USU Aggie basketball players. This Thursday, July 18th from 4 to 6 p.m. The Retreat at Homestead, 778 West 400 North in Logan, Cache Valley's brand new 62 and older community.
Retirement. Are you ready? Adams Wealth Advisors specializes in preparing you for a secure retirement. There's no reason to feel frustrated. The team at Adams Wealth will create a personalized plan that includes timing of retirement, reliable income sources, Social Security, estate planning, and more. Adams Wealth Advisors has a team of CPA, certified financial planners, Social Security experts to help you plan and retire with confidence. Call today, 752-1702, or visit adamswealthadvisors.com. That's adamswealthadvisors.com. Your dream retirement starts here.
The Italians have a saying, Lemon. Keep your friends close and your enemies closer. And although they've never won a war or mass-produced a decent car, in this area they are correct.
It's amazing.
Welcome back to KVNU's For the People. Just getting an update from our news team here as firefighters continue to make progress on wildfire burning in Box Elder County. This is, there's no surprise that we are dealing with a wildfire nearby or in northern Utah at large this time of year. But this is a big one. They're calling it the Tangent Fire. It's burned about 473 acres. It's out in the West Desert there, west of Brigham City, quite a bit west of Brigham City. And the Utah Fire Info Authority, they reports that the fire is burning along Tangent Peak, and on this is an area that's a combination of state, private, and BLM land. And it was first spotted 2 days ago, July 15th. Likely, a result of some kind of weather incident, though that hasn't been officially confirmed yet. The cause is still listed officially as unknown, but the authorities said this is an area where there's not, really a lot of traffic of any kind. So no evacuations or closures have been reported yet. It's that remote, but it is of concern because this is an area where the winds blow our way. And then, of course, it is a large enough fire that we are experiencing. You may have noticed this in the air the last couple of days. We are experiencing some of the haze from the fire, and we're also getting it from other areas in other states as well. It's just generally these days part of the smoke is just generally part of the jet stream here in the West. But they are so. They're my understanding, talking with what our news team has found out just on the phone with them earlier. It sounds like this is a mix of fighting it to keep it controlled and also keeping a very close eye on it, but at the same time recognizing this is in a very remote area and the odds are good that it's going to burn down to a low fuel area. But this is why it's extremely noteworthy, this story, because it is so dry out there that they can't guarantee this. One official said this is something we might just let burn to burn fuel, but it is so dry out there, we don't have confidence we can control anything if the winds get gusty. And so U.S. Forest Service has been coordinating the effort on this, and they said they're going to continue fighting it aggressively, even though it's quite a ways away from structures or people. They said they've made some pretty significant progress, and the fire is slowed down a bit, burning more slowly as the temperatures have cooled just enough. But it is only at 10% contained. So again, if you're feeling or seeing some of that haze in the air as I cough, it's probably related. And again, keep an eye on this one. The concern, again, it's in a remote area, and so it's not, it's one where they might just kind of keep it controlled, fight it, but let it burn a little bit too, to burn out some of the fuel. They said just things are so dry, they don't dare even risk it at this point. So they're fighting it as if it were a lot closer to structures and people. So we'll keep you posted on that one. But again, that because of the way the air is moving, that smoke and haze from that fire out there is coming directly into Cache Valley, and we're already getting it from the north as well. A couple of fires in Idaho sending smoke our way. So air conditions wise, we are not quite yet at unhealthy air, but we are at for those with asthma and those with any other kind of respiratory issue. It might be uncomfortable outside for long periods of time, and unfortunately, likely going to be dealing with this off and on until September, October this year if conditions don't change. So, better news, more fun news at least, but it is the celebration of National Ice Cream Day. And USU Aggie Creamery at its new location is giving away ice cream free. They have games and other stuff going on as well. And this is all planned for National Ice Cream Day, so National Ice Cream Day is actually Sunday, July 21st. That's where it fell on the calendar this year. But they're going to kick it off a few days early at this new location. So they are starting all of this Friday, July 19th. It's only 2 hours, so you're going to have to hurry, and there's probably going to be a crowd. 3 to 5 p.m. at their new Aggie Blue Square location. Aggie Blue Square at about 1111 North, exact address here. Thanks, Cimarron. 1111 North, 800 East in Logan. That Aggie Blue Square building you've probably passed on your way up or through campus. And that is, again, 3 to 5 p.m. this Friday, July 19th. National Ice Cream Day falls on the calendar. It's always the 21st, and it fell on the calendar this year for Sunday. So the Utah State University Aggie Creamery is going to be celebrating it on Friday ahead of the actual recognition day. So go up and celebrate National Ice Cream Day a couple days early with free Aggie ice cream at their new location. And that, again, is the Aggie Ice Cream Shop at Aggie Blue Square. This is the second location, by the way. But the Aggie Blue Square location will have free ice cream 3 to 5 p.m. So they've got games and contests and things like that they're doing. The first 400 people to get in, starting at 3 on Friday, get a free mini scoop of Aggie ice cream. And then they will have some ice cream educational displays of materials, a petting zoo. I don't know how that works. Balloon animal tying and face painting will also be happening up there. This is interesting. Cimarron includes this in the story at CashValleyDaily.com. I'd forgotten about this. Last September, they opened this additional location, and that was to shorten lines. That original location there, just east of the arts buildings there on campus, would get so crowded at times, and the parking lot would get so crowded it was a traffic issue. So they opened the second location down on the other side of campus in the Aggie Blue Square building, and then they have had success with that. It's only been open for a bit, but students have really enjoyed it, and it's let up some of let the pressure off of that original building. But this was interesting. They said that one thing they hadn't anticipated was the proximity to athletic practices as they were happening through the spring and summer months. And apparently when coach isn't looking or something, I'm jogging across the parking lot to cool down with some Aggie ice cream and then jogging back. I thought that was pretty funny. One employee saying they looked up to see the entire football team coming at him in gear one day. I thought that was great. Aggie ice cream, of course, more than 100 years that it's been sold on USU campus. And it started out in this tiny, tiny little store that was kind of just a wooden box set up in the corner of the entrance of the Animal Science building on the north side of the quad. That's where Aggie ice cream began. And now 2 locations, the original there on the east end of campus, and then this new one on the west end in the Aggie Blue Square building. And again, it is National Ice Cream Day this Sunday, but where it falls on a Sunday in this calendar year, Aggie's celebrating it a few days early. This Friday, July 19th, they'll celebrate National Ice Cream Day with free ice cream, 3 to 5 p.m. at the Aggie Ice Cream Shop at the Aggie Blue Square building, 1111 North, 800 East in Logan. And the theme, they're calling this Cow to Cone, a celebration to honor a few days early this Sunday, July 21st, National Ice Cream Day. So you heard it here first. And again, first 400 people in get free ice cream. So just nobody, don't hurt each other going through that door. But free Aggie ice cream, that's nothing to say no to. We'll be back with more of KVNU's For the People right after this.
Stop 610 AM, 102.1 FM, KVNU.
This is Cache County Fire Chief Rod Hammer. Due to current and predicted weather conditions coupled with extremely dry vegetation in northern Utah, the state forester has determined that measures must be taken to prevent the ignition of forest and rangeland fires. The following acts are prohibited in unincorporated private and state lands. First, no open fires of any kind except within established public facilities, in improved campgrounds, picnic areas, or in permanently constructed fire pits at private homes where running water is present. Second, no smoking except within an enclosed vehicle, trailer, or building, a developed recreation site, or while stopped in an area that is paved or free from dry vegetation. Third, no discharging or using any fireworks, tracer ammunition, or other pyrotechnic devices, including exploding targets. Fourth, no cutting, welding, or grinding metal in areas of dry vegetation. And fifth, no operating a motorcycle, chainsaw, ATV, or other small internal combustion engine without an approved and working spark arrestor. Please help us by doing your part to prevent costly and dangerous wildfires.
As a math teacher for 37 years, I always taught by using real-life examples. I'm retired now, but I still like using examples, like my decision to live at Legacy House of Logan. They offer beautiful 1- and 2-bedroom studios, add a range of fun activities, plus new friends and home-cooked meals. Then subtract the hassle of keeping after my old house and yard. And it all adds up to a fulfilling life that's perfect for me. Legacy House of Logan on 1400 North and online at legacylogan.com.
The landscaping season is now in full swing, and Canyon Landscaping is still booking for this season. For over 2 decades, Canyon Landscaping has been Cache Valley's leader of new and existing home landscaping projects. Spots are filling fast, so don't wait any longer for your outdoor living to become an extension of your home. To get your project going, request an appointment online at canyonlandscaping.com or call 752-3838. Let's get started on your yard. 752-3838. Canyon Landscaping. Look for the leaf.
Bank of Utah says thank you. Thanks to those who voted for Bank of Utah in the Best of Northern Utah contest, their 3rd gold medal in a row for Best Bank in Northern Utah. Whether you need a personal checking or savings account, need to finance your dream business, auto or home, or are looking for wealth management or investment services, Bank of Utah is your bank. Find out how Bank of Utah can serve you by going to bankofutah.com. Member FDIC and MLS number 422914.
When you take a walk around your neighborhood and notice all the things that make it feel like home, one thing might be a little harder to notice because somewhere tucked in that neat row of houses is hunger. Over 30 million Americans don't know where their next meal is coming from. At Albertsons Companies and Safeway Foundations, we are on a mission to provide 1 billion meals by 2030 because everyone should be welcome at the table. Learn more at nourishingneighbors.com. Let's break the cycle of hunger together.
Welcome back to KVN News for the People. Last month, something called the NDAA passed at the federal level. This is the National Defense and Authorization Act, and it is an annual thing. Well, so they can change when it expires, when it grandfathers or sunsets certain parts. So some parts won't be debated again for like 5 years. Other parts have to be debated every year. And there's always a bit of drama over it. It's one of those few must-pass bills that Congress takes up in the House and the Senate. Basically, if the NDAA doesn't pass, the military runs out of money. That would never really happen, by the way, trust me. But on paper, it would happen. And that's very concerning, and it would send a message to geopolitical foes that we don't really have our act together. So it's something that everyone wants to avoid. But that said, it's also a bill that everyone likes to grandstand and score their political points, especially if it's an election year for them. And it's quite a bit of drama. But now that the drama's over, NDAA passed its renewal last month. Details are starting to emerge. It's a huge bill, so it takes a while for the details to start to emerge. But Hill Air Force Base actually got a shout out and some funding and some attention courtesy of Senator Mitt Romney in the latest version of the NDAA. This was actually something that bubbled up in the NDAA committee report, which is a committee that recommends what the legislation should look like and then afterwards breaks down the legislation passed for public consumption so you can see what's in it, not just for transparency, but so people know. And Hill Air Force Base is specifically mentioned, courtesy of, again, Senator Mitt Romney. Hill Air Force Base, Romney said, faces some very unique technology and staffing issues right now that relate to a general drawdown in military service. And so Romney got 2 provisions tacked into the overall NDAA bill for Utah. Well, one's for everyone, but he said it would benefit Utah and some of the challenges Hill Air Force Base is facing. What this is basically is in the NDAA, Romney got a provision written in that requires GAO, the Government Accountability Office, to basically do an audit of something called the Ogden Air Logistics Center, not because they are in trouble or mismanaging funds or anything like that, but because they need a starting point. So what he wants to do is do a productivity and performance analysis, an audit basically, and then he wants that audit to recommend measures to address some of the challenges and better support the Air Force as they interact with Hill Air Force Base through this Ogden Air Logistics Center. Now, of course, they can't get into specifics on this, but what Romney said in a press release is technology and staffing challenges. Related to that, also in the NDAA, courtesy of Senator Mitt Romney, was something called Section 595. And it has a measure in there written by Romney that was called the Military Service Promotion Act of 2023. Which Romney basically took from his Military Service Promotion Act for 2023, which didn't pass, and it didn't pass the House, and then he took that and put it in the NDAA, and it's now there. And it's legislation written into the NDAA that it provides funding and a requirement for recruiting for the military to happen on a more regular basis and more often, everywhere from high schools to county fairs and things like that. And Romney said these in-person recruiting visits are important because this is a good way for people to get their education, 2 years of military service, have your college paid for, things like that. But also, he said, military service is for people. There are some that would hate it, some that will love it. But if no one's thinking of it, then even the ones that would love it don't think of it. And Romney said that is something that the analysts at the Pentagon believe is actually what's going on. So Romney had this tacked into the most recent NDAA for an increase back to 1980s levels of in-person visits to high schools, local events, things like that, county fairs, arts fairs, and more, with military recruiting documentation and information. And Romney says that he's not sure how we ever drifted away from this kind of thing, but enrollment numbers, enlistment numbers are noticeably down, and Romney says it is affecting staffing issues at Hill Air Force Base, where there are some jobs, many of the jobs at Hill Air Force Base can be contracted temporarily or long-term to a private company, everything from software development to run those planes to mail services and garbage pickup on base. Those are all private contracts, but there are other jobs that required by the Pentagon must be internal, and they don't have the staff to do them, or their turnover is high. And Romney said they need to figure out what that is, and he again asked for this audit to happen of the Ogden Air Logistics Center there at Hill Air Force Base. That report should be out by the end of the year, and Romney says hopefully before his term is up, he'll be able to negotiate some funding to fix whatever the audit proves the problems are. So, busy final year for Romney, got to admit. That's our time for today. I appreciate everyone tuning in. Stick around. Dave Ramsey is next here on KVNU Logan.
Changes, we'll keep you up to date. News Talk KVNU Logan, 102 FM, 610 AM.